Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Dr. Norma Reyes and I'm a career and life coach. So today I'm doing a vlog about Marie Forleo's BSchool. At the end of this, I think I might be able to say her name without having to pause. Oops, sorry guys, I hit this mic. I really need to find a better place to put it because I'm almost always hitting it. Anyway, I am going to vlog about week 5 of BSchool, which is module 4. So it's an 8-week long program. And then it's 6 weeks of actual modules. And then week 4 is implementation. And I guess week 8 is implementation. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten there. So this week has been about email list building. And I've completed 1 module. So I guess I'm a little behind. But I'm not worried about it. This week has been very, very interesting for me. I am I was really all kinds of mixed feelings on how I felt, how I was going in BSchool, and really working on a lot of different things at one time. And I was really, really working on being focused and finding clarity. And so I have been doing a lot of my habits that I've been working on, and I've been working on for the past, it's been over 6 months now. It's kind of amazing to see how when I started bullet journaling, and I really feel like that was one of the biggest things that changed my life, slowly, by working and being more intentional with what I'm doing in my life, that I didn't start doing all of these different habits all at once, but I started slowly tracking things that I wanted to do. And as I started being more successful with some of those simple habits, I started adding more things like doing yoga and meditation. And I don't mean full yoga videos. I just do these the sun salutation in the mornings. And so I'm really just super excited that I've done that for about 40 days now. And I would have never thought that, I'm going to wake up in the mornings and do that. And I myself consider myself very goal-oriented, very focused, but it was just something that I don't need that in my life. But now, there's so much that says that having a good morning routine and just routines in general really help you get in the flow and really just support you during those times when you're just not feeling great. Because a lot of times, things will happen like COVID-19 and, you'll begin to kind of backslide. And if you don't have a structure that supports you during that time, then you'll find yourself, back in the beginning. And, one of the things that I like to say is that's how it starts. And so, when you miss one day and then the next day you don't want to do it. And I'll tell myself that's how it starts. And so then I'll make myself do it, and vice versa. When something good happens and momentum happens, and I'm yeah, that's how it starts. So it works both ways. So that's something that you can add to your arsenal when you're feeling down or not motivated. Each way it works. And so then another thing that happened this past week, even though I did not fully even complete module 1 on BSchool, and I'm definitely going to get on it to finish. I haven't given up at all. I think that my life just needed something a little bit different this week, especially because I keep asking myself and getting more clarity. And I definitely am super excited to share some of the things that happened this week. So part of BSchool, you are part of a Facebook group where there's the other participants. I can't remember how many participants it is that are currently taking BSchool, but we go on there and you see the different people posting their stories, and it's really inspiring to see other people like you with similar mindsets that are also working towards their goals. And so many people giving free advice, so many people just sharing a story. And so this one lady, I don't even remember the original story that she shared, but she shared about SRT, which is spiritual response therapy. I'd never heard of it. And so she posted on there, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" Right? I had no idea what it was. I didn't do any research on it beforehand. But she said she was going to offer free a free session. When actually, like when I read it, I didn't realize that it was a free session. I thought it was just like a webinar describing what it was. And so she invited everybody that said they wanted to go, and the session was supposed to be on Wednesday, and she had a computer internet issue occur, which actually, again, universe just working itself out. And me and the three other ladies stayed on, and we chatted for a little bit, got to know each other, and we really connected. And two of the women are from Canada, and then another one from Connecticut. And the lady who's actually putting this together is from Colombia, and I'm from Texas. So it's just so funny, like completely different. Would have never met any of these people had it not been for BSchool. And it had the internet not existed, right? And so we get connected, and we're like, oh, we can have our own mastermind and start meeting regularly, just to kind of like a smaller support group during this time. And so the following day, she apologizes and asks us if we want to come back the following day to do the spiritual response therapy. And of course, after she had explained what it was, we were all still very interested, and we all still showed up the next day. And it was so that night, Wednesday night, I started reading this book called Spirited, and it's a medium writing a book about mediumship and how she became a medium, and how you can become more in tune with your higher self. And she talked about talking to her higher self, talking to the dead, and relaying messages to people in that way. And so I'm like, ooh, that's really neat. I would love to be able to do that, to talk to my higher self or have someone. And well, it turns out that spiritual response therapy is that. And so it was a great surprise for me. Then one of the other ladies there, she does, I don't even know what it's called, so I'm not even going to try. I think Reiki. And then it's just like, I don't know, spiritual healing stuff. And so she offered that to us. And so I did that on Friday. And it's just like so awesome. Like all this stuff that I've kind of been like, oh, I want to know what that feels like. Or I want to talk to my higher self. Or I want to know what my higher self wants to say to me. And so like, while I didn't move forward in BSchool, that this other stuff was going on. And one of the things that MC, on the lady I met with on Friday, that gave me my messages from my higher self, one of the biggest things was about doing more play, and that it will help me move forward, and more, no, sorry, take that back. On Thursday, that's what it was about, more play and more of that stuff. And then on Friday, it was other things that were holding me back, and overcoming the feeling of who am I, and I definitely have recently felt more stuck in that way of who am I to be telling people XYZ. And I really had to process that. And so for those of you that don't know, I am a licensed therapist, and I work with other licensed therapists. And so I always tell them, thank you for my free therapy, because, it just happens anyway. So I was talking with one of my friends, and I was explaining to her, like, yeah, I had been feeling kind of stuck lately, and like I wasn't getting as much momentum. And I was explaining to her and that my feeling of who am I is not not worthy or a self-doubt. I feel like I don't like to be like the voice of authority because I feel everyone is their own guide and their own voice of authority. And so I'm all about everyone figuring out their own path. And that's how I want my clients to see me, that I am a guide to help them and re-empower them and remind them of their own power within them to choose who they want to be and what they want to do. And they don't need anyone's approval. They don't need my approval. They don't need XYZ approval. Like it's all within you, and what is right for you is right for you. It doesn't matter what worked or didn't work for anyone else. If you believe it's going to work for you, then it's going to work for you. And then even if it doesn't, if it turns out like to be a bad idea, what can you learn from that? Everything you try gets you a little closer to what it is that will work, right? No one knows exactly what formula is going to work in your life until you start doing something. And the more you do, the better and closer that you'll get. And so I think that that's kind of what was happening with me, that I was feeling kind of stuck. And while I was still getting opportunities coming to me, that my feeling of that feeling of who am I, was getting in the way of me actually going and doing those things, those opportunities, and taking advantage of those opportunities. So if you're still watching this, thank you so much for still watching this. And remember that a lot of times when we get stuck, it is just that, like, we need to overcome this self-doubt and just do, because we learn in doing, not in analyzing. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, we learn in doing, not in analyzing. We learn in action and doing hands-on stuff. Who do you want? Do you want the person who's read every single medical book there is about a certain type of surgery, or do you want the person who has 1,000 surgeries under their belt? So, you're not worried about the first surgery that they did, but you definitely don't want to be the first person that person does the surgery on. I mean, and of course, that's like a whole other different example, but think about it that way, you're not going to know, you're not going to get the experience until you try doing it. And then, at some point, you'll figure it out. And that's where I'm going to end this video. So thanks for watching, guys. You have a great, great day.